Released in 1999, Lake Placid remains a cult classic in the monster horror genre, and it's also instilled a fear of crocodiles among the masses. It was directed by David E. Kelley and produced by Fox 2000 Pictures and Stan Winston Studios, and it went on to spawn a sequel before expanding into a franchise. While movies such as Pearl have later explored a similar idea of crocodiles haunting lakes in recent times, Lake Placid certainly takes the cake for portraying this predatory animal at its most dangerous self. Today, we'll be exploring this creature in great detail and tell you all about it. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What is the movie all about? Starring Bill Pullman and Bridget Fonda in lead roles, the movie's plot revolves around a gigantic 30-foot-long crocodile that resides within Black Lake in Maine and doesn't shy away from devouring any humans that cross its path. The movie begins with a marine fish and game officer named Walt Lawson, who finds himself under attack by an unseen creature in the Black Lake. The incident caused quite a stir in Aroostook County in Maine, and soon enough, they assembled a task force including Sheriff Hank Keogh, Officer Jack Wells, paleontologist Kelly Scott, and a crocodile enthusiast named Hector Sir to investigate the lake. As they embarked on this adventure, weirdly suspicious things started happening, as Kelly and Hank's canoe mysteriously flew into the air and eventually led them to discover a severed toe. They also found decapitated moose heads, and much to their horror, they found the severed head of one of Hank's deputies, Burke. As things got tense, the group ended up getting into an argument, and Hank and Hector barely noticed it when a bear lunged at them. However, the bear had no idea that the crocodile was lurking in the background, and it jumped out of nowhere to drag the bear down into the depths of the lake. While the crew tried to get to the bottom of the creature's predatory nature, they came across Mrs. Bickerman as she made her way to the lake to feed a blindfolded cow to the crocodile. She was one of the few people who dared to live close to the lake, and Jack, Hank, and Kelly were shocked to see that the crocodile quietly fed on this offering without harming the lady. They immediately tried to get in touch with her, and she revealed that she had been feeding the crocodile for quite some years now, ever since it followed her husband home on one occasion. She further stated that the crocodile had eventually killed her husband, and the crew then placed her under house arrest to keep a sharper eye on her actions. Hector then decided to explore the crocodile's territory from a higher perspective, and he took Deputy Sharon Gare along in his helicopter to fly above the lake and land in the crocodile's cove. He even dared to dive into the lake, and he somehow managed to escape even when the crocodile was close on their heels. In the meantime, Jack and Hank came up with a plan to arrange for Florida Fish and Game to kill the crocodile, while Hector proposed that they should lure the creature out of its territory and drug it. The rest of them accepted this plan, and they decided to use one of the blindfolded cows as bait to lure the creature out of the water. It didn't take long for the crocodile to lunge at the cow, while Hector dangled it over the lake with the help of the helicopter. As soon as the crocodile jumped at the cow, Hector lost control of the helicopter, and it ended up crashing right into the lake. In the meantime, the crocodile inched closer and closer to Jack and Kelly on the shore, and Kelly even ended up falling into the lake. Hector rushed to her rescue, and she got safely into the helicopter before they devised a plan to trap the crocodile as well. While Hector and Kelly hoped to capture the animal alive, or even let it go, Jack seemed to have other plans, and he whipped out a gun to shoot it. Amid the others' protests, they realized that it was just a tranquilizer rifle and that the crocodile had just been knocked out. Assuming that the lake was now safe, Hector waded out of the water when a second crocodile showed up at the scene and almost killed him. In the spur of the moment, Hank used a grenade launcher to kill it despite all their attempts to do minimal harm to the creatures. Soon after, Florida Fish and Game officers arrived at the scene to take the crocodile back to Portland and figure out a way to deal with it. While this threat is subdued, the last scene in the movie shows a bunch of baby crocodiles in the lake while Mrs. Bickerman takes it upon herself to feed them. We soon realized that the two crocodiles in the film had mated to create a litter, while an end credit scene sheds light on the surviving crocodile as the crew relocates it to Portland in a flatbed truck. The success of this movie, paired with the fact that the crocodile reproduced in the lake to keep its legacy going, gave way to 3 more sequels, as well as a crossover film with the Anaconda film series. Anatomy of the creature. How big is the Lake Placid crocodile? Typically, crocodiles are 3 to 6 feet in length, but Lake Placid's crocodile's features were exaggerated to a great extent. It was about 30 feet in length, and it was also way heavier than regular crocodiles. Its highly enhanced physiology made it an even greater threat to victims, who were immediately caught off guard by its appearance. While it was a predatory saltwater crocodile in Lake Placid, it was said to have migrated there all the way from across the Pacific Ocean. How strong is the Lake Placid crocodile's bite force? While nature documentaries have often highlighted how crocodiles devour their prey, the Lake Placid crocodile was one step ahead of them all. For starters, it was way bigger in size, and it also had enhanced strength. As a result, its jaw strength and bite was far beyond real-life crocodiles, and it would even crush bones and metal in no time. Why is the Lake Placid crocodile so fast in water? Lake Placid's crocodile had managed to terrorize anyone who ventured too close to the lake, but its victims didn't have long to shiver in fear. It was quite stealthy, and it silently crept up on its victims and swiftly moved past boats to ambush its prey. Is the Lake Placid crocodile bulletproof? Just like most predatory reptiles, the Lake Placid crocodile had thick, armored skin that helped it deflect most attacks. Its scaly skin had helped him develop quite a resistance to small arms fires and traps, but it wasn't entirely bulletproof. Towards the end of the film, the crew shot the crocodile with a tranquilizer gun to subdue it, while they took it away, and the shot immediately knocked the creature out. Of course, this was only one such instance, and in most such cases, the crocodile could deflect small attacks and sharp weapons. How does the Lake Placid crocodile hunt prey? Given the fact that the Lake Placid crocodile has survived for centuries, we can confidently say that it has advanced hunting skills. It ambushed its victims by silently creeping up on them, and it was quite a patient hunter. Its intelligence, paired with its calculated hunting style and problem-solving abilities, made it a naturally gifted hunter. For instance, the crocodile once sneaked up on a bear while the bear was attacking Hank and Hector, and it was so smooth in its movements that the bear didn't even realize its life was in danger. How long can the Lake Placid crocodile live? Over the course of the movies, the crocodile has often reproduced and created quite a lineage that spans across generations. It also had an extended lifespan, and the movie's narrative implied that it had slowed aging and longevity. While the crocodile reproduced and left many of its kind behind in the first couple of sequels, there was an increased threat to their survival, as it was suggested that they might have gone extinct. The third installment even raised the question as to whether they should be protected or eradicated from the planet. But this predatory crocodile soon took matters into its own hands and produced a new litter of babies that kept their legacy as well as the danger alive. Is the Lake Placid crocodile intelligent? The Lake Placid crocodile most certainly displayed advanced signs of intelligence, which had helped it survive all this time. It could differentiate between humans and even identify and communicate with them. For instance, the crocodile had managed to interact with Mrs. Bickerman, who often fed it. The crocodile's intelligence also enabled it to avoid falling into traps and maintain its status as a highly dangerous predator. What makes the Lake Placid crocodile deadly on land and in water? Known as amphibious creatures, crocodiles can usually survive on land as well as water. While this particular monstrosity was much more efficient in the water, it could survive even on land, but its efficiency in capturing prey was impacted when it was taken out of the lake. The crew easily managed to tranquilize it and subdue it on land, but this did not mean that the crocodile was entirely helpless, and it did put up a deadly fight. Why is the Lake Placid crocodile so terrifying? The Lake Placid crocodile had instilled quite a lot of fear in the minds of the local population and anyone who lingered around the lake. Moreover, the crocodile had claimed many lives in silence, warning others to steer clear of the lake. It had quite a fearful reputation, and there was no doubt that horror stories about the lake had quite a psychological impact on humans. The fear and the crocodile's predatory aura made it quite a compelling antagonist in the franchise. Marvelous verdict. And with that, we've explored the terrifying Lake Placid crocodile as well as all of its most terrifying traits. It has spawned several generations worth of creatures that continued to terrorize us across sequels, and this franchise certainly lands on our must-watch list. So do check it out if you haven't already, and beware, the next time you step into a lake, you might be walking right into this creature's trap. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.